few days ago, I pulled a battery tray out of my W124 E320 coupe to clean it up and coat rust with some Miracle Paint, and I saw this, and I go, oh no, mice have been here. Typical evidence, and I shot an alert video on this and put it on YouTube, but I mentioned anytime you run into problems with mice in your engine compartment, you want to really inspect all the plastic hoses, particularly the vacuum hoses, very carefully. And look at these hard plastic vacuum lines. You can see where they've eaten right through both the black and the red hose. But guess what? How am I going to fix this? The connection point is way down in here, and it goes way back into this point. I got to get a hold of those. You know, how am I going to splice this? I'll use rubber hose, but I'm going to use a special tool that we developed for another application, which works great for these hard plastic vacuum lines to be able to hold them in place. But the first thing I'm going to do is get these hoses up out of the way so I've got some room to work, and I'll use some zip ties. I'll just take these coolant hoses, get it around this brake line here. Let's see if we can get these up and out of the way. You can see now with these coolant hoses up out of the way, I have better access to the other two ends of these vacuum hard lines. But look at how hard it is to get in there. I'm going to have to use rubber vacuum hose to splice these, but I'm going to have to push this on, and I can't even reach my hand down in there and push that on. Plus, I've got to cut back about 1 inch on the end of both of these to get rid of all the areas that have been chewed. You know, I've gotten a flashlight and I'm looking way down in there to make sure there's no other problem. But you can see the problem here. How am I going to grab a hold of the hard line while I shove on this rubber hose? We'll enter our special tool for removing diesel fuel injector return hoses. It clamps onto the hoses, but notice this is too big to clamp onto the hard line. But watch how I'm going to put a piece of hose on there, and I'm going to use this pair of special pliers to hold onto that while I shove the hose on with my left hand. You can see now I've trimmed back both ends of both hard lines. So I have a clean end on both ends, and this has even pushed this further back in there, more difficult to get to. I've cut 2 lengths of hose. I got one at 3 inches, one at 4 inches. I want to see if I can push it on about 1 inch on each end and have it a little bit flexible. So I'm going to set those aside. I think I'll go ahead and try the black hard line first. Now I've taken another piece of about 1/2 inch of vacuum hose, and I've slit it down the middle with a box knife, with a razor. See that? That'll allow me to slip it over the end of this hard line. Oh man. Let's see if I can wiggle my way down in here. All right, I've got a hold of the black one. You can see how tough it would be to push on anything there, but I'll push this piece of slit hose on. I'm going to go down about 1 inch. Okay, there you go. Maybe a little bit further. Sorry if I'm blocking the camera. All right, I think you can see now I've got that piece of hose on there back about 1 inch. Now I can take my special pliers, and what's great about this is the angle, and this was designed to get onto those vacuum hard lines. Now I can squeeze onto this hard line, see, without damaging it. So we're going to take the longer piece. All right, now, with me holding that pair of pliers just like that, I'm going to take this hose and I'm going to shove on there. I'm going to go on all the way down about 1 inch. Okay. Now I'll reach in there, see if I can pull off that slit piece. Okay, there's the slit piece. Now I have enough room to get to this other end of the vacuum line and to push this in about 1 inch. And there you have it. There's your repair. I'm sure you could try to do it with hands only, But let me tell you, having that plier to clamp onto the other end of that hard line back down in that hole really makes this job easier. So I'll go ahead and repair the red one now, and we'll get this all cleaned up, and we have a vacuum line repair. Hopefully we won't have any more mice in this car in the future.